Check, check, check. 1, 2. I gotta take it up just a little bit. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And when you need a white balance line, it's on the end, good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
Just get the bottom. Let the editors worry about that stuff.
You don't edit your own stuff?
Set up the audio shit.
Yeah.
It's like the George here.
Oh, yeah.
Alex, this is when you put that on there.
Right.
Yeah, so what?
That light is off center already.
Yeah.
Let's check that out. That's gosh, that shit.
Nah, I don't want that. It's gotta be, that's not possible. I think if you go out in the car, hit a couple lights. This way, if you look.
Yeah, it was an announcement on page hours.
I mean, this is bright enough, I think it's touch it up higher.
I think. I was just curious, because it's such one of the amp power.
It's just too much.
Yeah, I know it's flat.
Well, for that,
Would probably be a little bit better.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, situation. How you gonna play it, whatever. Oh, we use his latest too? Use yours and his?
You guys.
You guys okay with what we got going here? Yes, well.
You can really brighten it up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I can dial in, that's right, I kinda match the temperature in here.
These are about 47.
We sound check, Billy, everything's like audio's good and stuff.
All good, Tyler.
All right, thanks.
Ready to go.
Everybody all set? Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for coming out this afternoon for this important announcement. First, I want to just thank Jeff Fulmer and Jim O'Malley for their partnership over the last couple months. At the onset and the beginning of our Public Safety Summit that we held in August, I said that change moves at the speed of trust. And I think collectively, our administration, with Jeff and Jim's support, have done a remarkable job building that trust, resetting the relationship between City Hall and police union leadership to make sure we can deliver for the men and women of the Cleveland Division of Police. As you know, we had 3 objectives at the start of our Public Safety Summit. First, really tackling the recruitment aspects of our police department, which we've made some announcements around. But the other 2 important objectives were tackling retention and deployment. And I'm happy to announce we've come to terms on those 2 important and critical points. First being around retention and wages. We have negotiated, based on the rank of the officer, a 14% pay increase, up to 14% pay increase for all officers across the Division of Police. Taking that in addition to the 11% increase we negotiated last year through last year's contract, since our administration has taken office, we have now increased wages by up to 25% in just 2 years for all of our members of our police department. Because of this agreement, our pay now goes from being in the 50th percentile statewide to now the 75th percentile statewide. So we are truly becoming and will become a department of choice across the state of Ohio. Also, because of this agreement, the top patrol pay for our top patrol pay officers will now be at over $84,000. So that's one of the top starting salaries across the state. Second, when it comes to deployment, we have now negotiated 12-hour shifts across the entire Division of Police. So we'll be going from 10 hours shifts to now a 12-hour shift. This does a couple things. 1, allows us to put more resources on the street. Number 2, allows us to reduce the mandates that have been, I know, challenging for many members of our department. It also allows us to have a better work-life balance for the men and women of our police department. And so I'm excited about today's historic agreement. I think we all believe that these investments are going to go a long way to addressing some of the challenges we've had around not just recruitment, but retention and deployment of all of our resources across the division. And I want to allow Jeff and Jim to provide some comments as well, too. Jeff.
Thank you, everybody. We've been in touch many times, and the exit interviews. A lot of our young guys are leaving, going to other departments. Wages was one of the top things on it. Thank you to Mayor Bibb and his the gentlemen and the ladies that he sent over to work with us. It was truly a great experience. We met for 2 or 3 months. Our job was to fix a problem and try to regain, keep officers, recruit officers, make the city safe. Being short, there's no relief for our guys, and anytime in the future, we're hoping these 12 hours give them some relief. 12 hours was a tough sell to the membership. I hope they see in the long run that hopefully this is a little bit healthier as we gain to try to get more people here. So yesterday was a good day. Mayor Bibb and his administration, city council, has given us the biggest raise that this union has ever seen, and it's greatly appreciated. And now the goal is to keep them fresh and get the city safe and get the services back out there and try to get our numbers up. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the FOP, I just wanted to say thank you to the mayor, his administration, and the leadership of the CPPA, along with my co-FOP leaders. This was the first time in my 27 years that I can think of that 2 unions have worked together at the same time to try and negotiate something into 2 separate, very different contracts. And it was very challenging, and again, like Jeff said, to echo his comments, I thank the mayor, his leadership, the division's leadership, and the CPPAs to get us to this point where we're at today. There's still a lot of work that has to go ahead. The implementation of this is going to be a whole other phase, but we're looking forward to it. And I know our members and the CPPA members, again, it was challenging to get us to this point, but I think over time, it's gonna be refreshing for them. And then the increase in pay, obviously, we hope that it has the effect that we want to keep officers here and make them think twice about leaving and going to another division. So thank you all for being here today. Mayor?
Now I'm going to have Deputy Chief Fay kind of talk about the operational impact of the 12-hour shift and what it'll mean for the department. Deputy Chief.
Morning, everybody. Thanks for coming. My name is Daniel Fay. I'm a Deputy Chief for Administrative Operations for the Division of Police. Chief Drummond could not be here today, so I'm speaking on behalf of him. The Chief is at a major city chiefs conference. It's an annual conference where chiefs around the nation get together and try to solve problems. I attended the conference 2 years ago, and I can tell you the number one concern for chiefs around the nation was retention and recruitment. And I guarantee this year, it's probably a top 3 agenda item for those chiefs. And what I can say with this agreement is that some of those chiefs are probably tracking Chief Drummond down today going, how did you do it? How did you get this agreement done? And I think it's a benefit and accolades to this administration. When they came in, they recognized the problem. And to the unions, to Jeff Fulmer, who I've known. Jeff was one of my field training officers. Jim O'Malley was one of my classmates. They are men of honor. They understood the problem, and they addressed it. And for them, I appreciate their commitment to solving the issues. We are working right now on how the deployment will go. 12-hour shifts is new. Some of the benefits and some of the concerns that we're going to look at, and what Chief Drummond does consistently on a weekly basis when we meet, is the wellness of our officers. How will 12-hour shifts impact them? So we're going to look deep into that. The current system where officers are being mandated is stressful on their lives. The 12-hour shifts is going to reduce some of that stress and that work balance, that work family balance that they need is going to come to fruition. I firmly believe that. We're going to work with the unions with the logistics side of it on how we can make sure going forward with the different plans. And we're going to let some of the commanders weigh in on how they want that to be implemented. So I'll be brief. I just want to thank you for coming. I want to thank the men and women of the division for their hard work on a daily basis. You see them walk in and out of here. I was a first district commander years ago, about 3-4 years ago. This room is kind of dedicated to them. It's a meeting place for them where we remember those who have fallen also. So if you have time, look around. Some of the first district officers that have died in the line of duty are on the walls here. So thanks again.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. So before we take questions, I just want to just summarize the progress we've made since July when we announced the RISE initiative, raising investment and safety for everyone. Today we're talking about the historic investment we're making in our police department in terms of an up to 25% pay increase for officers in just 2 years. As I said before at the onset of my comments, we've made historic investments to really change how we recruit, because we are truly in a war for talent. And so we've already increased cadet pay from $16 an hour to $24 an hour. We have a new $5,000 signing bonus for folks who want to join the police department. And we're also offering free tuition reimbursement for folks who go through the OPATA training as well. And now a fast track promotion if you are coming to our department from the military or have a college degree. And because of those investments we're making on the recruitment side, we've already seen a 45% increase in applications, and we're optimistic we'll have a large class in the first quarter of next year joining our police academy, in addition to these announcements we're making today around retention and employment as well. And then around the enforcement side, our leadership at City Hall and inside the Division of Police have been working around the clock with the Ohio Highway Patrol, U.S. Marshals, U.S. Attorney, and ATF to get violent criminals off our streets. We've gotten hundreds of guns off our streets. We've made hundreds of felony arrests as well. And so, as I said, we are not going to spare any expense to keep our city safe. And I think today's announcement truly shows the testament to that commitment on behalf of our administration. So with that being said, I'll take some questions.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Why did you wait so long to address this problem, given that the crime rate has been a problem for a long time and the size of the city's police force has dropped to historic lows? So why, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
are we doing this? Why didn't we do this earlier?
Ed, I'm so happy you asked that question. There are a couple of things I want to say. First and foremost, within months after I took my oath of office of January of last year, not 4 years ago, but last year, our team got to work working with Jim and Jeff to negotiate a brand new police contract, the biggest raise they had ever gotten from any other mayor in prior history. That 11% pay increase over the next 3 years. We recognize that because of the challenges that we see across the country in this battle to attract and retain good talent in our police departments, that wasn't good enough. So what did we do? We went back to the drawing board and reached out to Jeff and Jim to make sure we did more to invest in our police department. And so since I took office, we have had a sense of urgency around public safety, and that sense of urgency has not stopped. And today's announcement shows you that in just 20 plus months, we have made probably the biggest investment our city has ever seen in terms of police and modernizing our police department, and that commitment won't stop as long as I'm mayor of this great city. Next question.
Yeah, for mandates, can you guys kind of explain where you're at with mandates now and where you're hoping these 12-hour shifts will get people to? And if there's concerns that mandates will still happen?
Yeah, one of the goals of this agreement is to reduce those mandates. So right now, some of our officers work 8-hour shifts, and because of some of the staffing concerns in some of the districts, they're being held over for additional 4 hours. So what that does is, for example, that balance that they want, they have an event after work, they can't go home. They have to stay here and work. So what the 12-hour shifts is going to do is going to give us dynamic staffing that's going to eliminate those particular mandates, because we're going to have more officers available in the districts on both shifts. We're going to have 2 different squads that are going to work also. So it's going to spread out our staffing and increase it significantly on a daily basis. Jeff, you want to say anything?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're short, and you try to look and see what you can do to fix a problem. And this is an attempt to fix a problem. Academy classes run 6 to 8 months, so they're going to be short for a while. So this is an attempt to fix a problem. We were at a roll call the other day, and some young lady said she almost worked between 70 and 90 hours in a week. It's just not healthy, especially with the stuff that's going on in the city of Cleveland, the balance. Something has to change. Not everybody's happy about going to 12s. Hopefully in the long run, when they get older and they see that, maybe got, less hours or things worked out a little bit better, they'll be appreciative of it. But right now, what our officers are doing is not healthy. And this is an attempt to fix a problem by putting 12s, and hopefully, it's not going to take away overtime, but hopefully it fixes, gives a little bit more life for these officers.
I wanted to clarify for either the commander or one of the union guys. The mayor mentioned putting more resources out there, and Commander, you mentioned something about putting more people out there. You don't have any more officers. Is this 12-hour shift going to result in more officers on the street? But if you don't have more officers, how can you put more officers on the street?
So to answer the question, so with dynamic staffing, it's going to eliminate some of the thresholds that we have right now when it comes to platoons. Right now we have 3 platoons, okay, in most of the districts. And what it'll do, it'll spread the staffing out, and it'll give us more staffing with each squad and with each shift. So no, do we have more officers right now? No. Do we anticipate more officers coming? Definitely. I anticipate through the recruitment efforts and this particular agreement, our academy classes will increase. So it's going to take time, no doubt about it. It's going to take a little bit of time to get where we want to be. But this is one step in that process to make sure that our officers' wellness is considered. These mandates are one of the issues that we see when officers leave, okay? So I think the 12-hour shifts is going to eliminate some of those mandates, no doubt about it. Will it eliminate overtime? Maybe not.
Right, but
Initially.
you're not going to end up with, say, 50 officers in one shift in one area, whereas now you only have 40. Right? I mean, it's not going to be, you're not.
We still have the same number of sworn members. That's correct, Ed, yes. But with that dynamic staffing, it's going to reduce those mandates, yes.
I got a question from News 5 about the 12-hour shifts. There's real evidence that long shifts lead to impaired decision-making and also decreased work-life balance. So why the 12-hour shifts?
Well, to that point, we've looked at several studies to actually show that 12-hour shifts, particularly in the nursing sector, has benefited that profession. You're also seeing across the country from St. Louis and other departments, even in Ohio, Parma, for example, are now going to 12-hour shifts. And so we believe that this new shift model gives our officers more time off, more weekends with their family, reduces the mandates that have been taking a toll on them and their respective families as well too. And we've also put language in this agreement that in 1 year, we're going to evaluate this. And if it doesn't work, we'll go back to the drawing board to figure out what does work. And so I've given Jeff and Jim my commitment to make sure that we are getting the feedback from the men and women on the front lines who are doing this work every single day to make sure we have the staffing model that's going to keep our city safe, but protect the well-being of our officers. One thing also I want to point out, as you know, we just passed a paid family leave policy in our administration several months ago. And guess what department has the most applicants for paid family leave? Police. And so that just shows you that we're doing everything we can to really address the well-being of our police department. And again, if we get feedback that it's not working, we'll go back to the drawing board to figure out what works long term.
Can you talk numbers for us? So how many officers are on the streets right now, and where should we really be at this point?
Yeah, I don't have a specific number for you today. We can get that for you. I know that about 37% of our officers and detectives are in support units. So over 60-some% are on the street, working every day in the districts. Yeah, I don't have a specific number for you, but over 60% are in the districts working day-to-day and answering calls for service.
We're down roughly 20%, and we budgeted for over 1,400 in this current budget. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my
Oh,
apologies.
I have.
Sorry.
We're down roughly 20% year to date. We budgeted for over 1,400 across the entire division of police. And today's announcement, in addition to the incentives we announced around recruitment, are an attempt to address that 20% shortage. And again, this problem is not unique to Cleveland. Let me say that again. This is not unique to Cleveland. So this is our attempt to finally put Cleveland to be a department of choice statewide by making the investments in pay for our existing officers and the investments we're making to recruit new folks to the department as well too.
When does everything start kicking in, like the salaries, the shift changes?
January 1st.
And how will the public see it happening? Will it be like by districts, by morning shifts, citywide?
Citywide, across all 5 districts. Any other questions? Okay, thanks everybody, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate work. Sir? Got it.
Good job.
You're looking for the numbers, haven't you?
We were talking last night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
It's like, what's that game?
Around, take mine off first.
It's like the last guy should go off first.
Yeah.
That's me.
We're gonna grab full
All right. Yeah. Let's grab it here. It's a lot of cameras in a.
Oh, I've been up for like 20 hours. I'm like,
You've been up for like 20 hours.
It's like, you know how you're up all day and then all of a sudden you go to sleep and you can't sleep. It's like, this
Yeah.
is miserable.
When you're just sitting
Yeah,
there, like
it's
I'm
like,
so tired
should
that I
be sleeping
can't
right now.
even. Yup. Exactly. All right, so I'm curious how the union is feeling about this agreement and kind of what the top concerns are that you're going to be addressing leading up to January 1st.
You know, so it was tough for our membership because the 12 hours are going to be changed. They're going to go through some changes. A little history, when we were going to 10 hours from 8 hours, there was actually fights and stuff like that and arguments about going to 10 hours, and now they love it. You know, we're going to 12 hours, and we're hoping that, you know, they get a little relief right now, because right now what they're doing is not healthy. You know, we're happy with the wages. I mean, the wages, you know, over a 2, 2, and 2, if that's a minimum, that just comes. If these officers are at 90,000, and the goal in the whole time is to get people here, our police officers here. And if that we accomplish that, and you get some over, it's not a short fix. It's going to be 2-3 years, but if you can get some numbers back, it's going to make the city of Cleveland, our guys, have a little less stress and things like that going on.
And can you explain to us how a 12-hour shift may actually help with the mandate?
So-
I guess that's a little confusing.
Yeah, well, so you know, if you look at it simple, you got day shift and night shift. All your afternoons are going to go to either day shift or night shift, and they are the biggest squads. So you're taking an afternoon shift away, putting them on nights or days. That's where you're adding your numbers. So hopefully, when you add your numbers, each one has a squad. They got a car plan, should be more cars going out, more people that can man those cars because you got rid of afternoons. That's a simple way of putting it.
Gotcha. So basically, by moving to 2 shifts, you're shifting this third shift, and it's not half of the shift where there's more crossover.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, you take the afternoon guys, which are our biggest shift, 40 to 50 people, put them in the squads, and you should have more per squad, and then more cars going out.
And let's talk about this recruitment. So it's been a couple months since you guys announced, well, it feels like a couple months. It may have
Yeah,
been
right,
1
yeah.
month.
Feels like a year.
Yeah, it's true. Since you guys announced recruitment, and it sounds like you're starting to see success in numbers for applicants. So can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
So my success will be when you see them going actually into the academy. You get a lot of applicants, you get a lot of people that don't qualify. So once the numbers get into the academy, then we can talk about that, because I don't know if we'll get it, but 50 to 100 would be nice. You know, you can have 1,000 applicants and you only get 10 out of the whole 1,000. So the goal is to get them into the academy class. That's the goal.
The true test is the quality of
Correct,
the
yes.
candidates.
It's the quality, yes. It's the quality of the candidates and getting them inside the academy.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
So this is a brand new contract, and you can answer toward, so like how many year contract is
Okay.
it?
So this is actually what I've told all my members. This is something that's never been done before. It's outside the contract. Our contract starts in 2025. So as we go and we try to fix things, if this union doesn't like what's going on, we could negotiate out of it. You know, see what the city has to say. So it's a good trial period right now to get the next contracts to negotiate these things. So it's for 1 year, then the next contract's for 3 years.
All right. I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Hopefully you get some sleep.
Yeah, right.
So basically, are you gonna stagger, are you gonna have like 8 shifts, 10 to 10 shifts?
Correct, yeah. I don't know, each district gets to do their own thing, based on what the needs are.
So everyone will definitely be working
So if
12-hour
you have
shifts.
rush hour going on, you might need a car starting at 6 in the morning, or 6, or, you know, whatever.
Do you still do like everyone gathers together in the in the mornings to discuss what's going on? So
Roll
that-
calls, yeah.
Roll call?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have multiple roll calls now, right? Or is
No, same, well, not everybody is one, everybody is one start time. Squads will have 2 different
I didn't even pass. So you guys are, it's a good thing. How does it compare to like Columbus? I mean, I know Columbus.
We won't here's the problem, shortest, you're not gonna fix it.
You said you're putting these on socials?
Yeah.
Perfect. I grabbed them. Thanks. Yeah. I figured they were for us.
They're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That was your main.
Everybody's coming back from my season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
How's
So
it going?
RTA was
And they're
the.
going to 12.
One of those days.
And if you have no time off, you're not getting weekends off.
True story.
Oh.